M1911 pistol. This pistol was so reliable and effective it stayed in US service for over 70 years. Semi-automatic pistol firing, .45 ACP rounds, known for exceptional reliability and stopping power, served as standard issue sidearm for US armed forces throughout both world wars. Design emphasized rapid follow-up shots in close-range engagements. The .45 caliber rounds were massive compared to most pistol ammunition. When this thing hit someone, they stayed down. Robust design supported officers and infantry across various conflicts, including Pacific Island campaigns and European operations. .45 caliber rounds provided superior stopping power compared to smaller calibers. Remained in continuous service due to proven battlefield effectiveness. Officers needed something they could count on when everything went wrong. The combination of reliability, stopping power, and quick follow-up shot capability made it ideal for close-quarters protection, though the Germans had a beautiful pistol with one fatal weakness: Luger P08. Despite its legendary precision, this beautiful pistol had one weakness that got German soldiers killed. Semi-automatic pistol shooting 9mm rounds, noted for exceptional precision and distinctive beautiful design, served as standard sidearm for German army throughout war. Became highly sought-after war trophy among Allied soldiers due to craftsmanship. The engineering was incredible, precision machined to tolerances that were almost art, but that precision came with a deadly price in combat conditions. Provided reliable accuracy and solid stopping power when properly maintained. Later war models suffered from non-interchangeable parts due to wartime production challenges affecting field repairs. Design aesthetics made it instantly recognizable and desirable among enemy forces. Dust and dirt would jam the mechanisms that were built to such tight tolerances. Critical sensitivity to dust required covered holsters for reliable operation, while production issues limited battlefield maintenance. And ironically, both sides ended up using the exact same weapon: Browning High Power. This gun's 13-round magazine was revolutionary, and after Germany captured the factory, both sides used identical weapons. Semi-automatic pistol firing 9mm rounds with exceptional 13-round magazine capacity. Featured simple, reliable design with easy disassembly for field maintenance. Represented significant advancement in pistol magazine capacity for its era. 13 rounds was almost double what most pistols could carry. More ammunition meant more chances to stay alive in a firefight. Used by both Allied and Axis forces after Germany overtook Belgian FN manufacturing plant during occupation. Provided high capacity with minimal jamming issues compared to other pistols. Design simplicity enhanced reliability across different environmental conditions. German soldiers found themselves shooting at British troops with the same exact pistol. High magazine capacity and minimal malfunction rate made it superior for sustained firefights, influencing preferences across both sides. And the British Empire had been perfecting theirs for nearly half a century. Mk2 grenade. The segmented body wasn't just for looks, each segment was calculated for maximum killing power. Fragmentation hand grenade nicknamed Pineapple Grenade due to distinctive segmented body design, engineered to break into lethal fragments upon explosion for maximum anti-personnel effectiveness, designed for both hand-throwing and rifle launcher compatibility. Each groove was precisely cut to create predictable fragment patterns. The pineapple look was actually deadly engineering disguised as decoration, used extensively by US forces as hand-thrown weapon, and with rifle launchers like M7 grenade launcher on M1 Garand rifles, provided versatile explosive support during infantry advances across Pacific and European theaters. Segments created predictable fragmentation patterns for maximum effectiveness. Soldiers could launch them from rifles when hand-throwing wasn't enough. The dual-use capability enhanced close-range offensive capabilities while segmented design ensured maximum fragment dispersion, and their solution gave them a massive range advantage. Lee Enfield Rifle. This rifle design was so effective it remained the British standard for over 5 decades of warfare. Bolt-action, magazine-fed repeating rifle serving as main firearm for British Empire and Commonwealth armies. Design emphasized accuracy, speed, and reliability for extended service life. Represented culmination of late 19th century rifle development and engineering. The British had been refining this design since before most soldiers were born. By World War II, they had worked out every possible problem. Used extensively in all theaters, including North Africa, Pacific Island campaigns, and European operations. Long service life ensured consistent armament training and logistics across Empire forces. Proven effectiveness in both defensive operations and prolonged engagements across diverse environments. Soldiers knew exactly how their rifle would perform because the design was proven. Combination of accuracy, rapid bolt operation, and field reliability enabled effective marksmanship during sustained combat. While Soviets created one of the most manufactured weapons in human history, Mosin Nagant rifle. This rifle became one of the most produced firearms in human history, with production numbers that dwarf most nations' entire arsenals. 5-shot bolt-action rifle representing one of most mass-produced firearms in military history. served as standard-issue weapon for Soviet Union throughout Eastern Front campaigns. Design prioritized simplicity and manufacturability over refinement or precision. The Soviets built these rifles by the millions, literally millions. Factory workers who had never seen a rifle before were building them, provided reliable long-range fire support for massive Red Army infantry formations on Eastern Front. Also extensively favored as sniper rifle due to inherent accuracy characteristics. Robust construction supported vast infantry mobilizations against German advances across thousands of miles. Simple meant reliable, and reliable meant Soviet soldiers had working weapons. Mass production capability and reliable performance under extreme conditions made it crucial for defensive battles. Though German engineering had perfected accuracy but couldn't overcome one critical limitation: Kar-98K rifle. This rifle's legendary accuracy couldn't overcome one critical disadvantage that cost German infantry dearly. Bolt-action rifle based on proven Mauser 1898 design, serving as primary infantry weapon for German forces, known for exceptional accuracy and reliability in various combat conditions, represented culmination of bolt-action rifle development and engineering precision. German engineering had perfected the bolt-action rifle to an incredible degree. These rifles could hit targets that other rifles couldn't even see, used extensively in urban combat and open field operations across all fronts until partially replaced by assault rifles. Maintained German infantry effectiveness in defensive and offensive operations throughout the war. Widespread use influenced Axis tactical doctrines and engagement strategies, but accuracy didn't matter if you couldn't shoot fast enough. Despite superior accuracy, slower rate of fire compared to semi-automatic rifles limited tactical effectiveness against faster-firing enemies, and Americans had solved the rate of fire problem entirely. M1 Garand rifle. General Patton called this the greatest battle implement ever devised, and he wasn't exaggerating. First standard-issue semi-automatic rifle in military history, firing 30-06 Springfield ammunition with 8-round en-bloc clip system, provided dramatically faster rates of fire compared to bolt-action rifles used by other armies. Represented revolutionary advancement in infantry, small arms development, and tactics. While enemies had to work their bolt after every shot, Americans just kept pulling the trigger. The firepower advantage was absolutely devastating in combat. Semi-automatic operation provided significant firepower advantage over enemy bolt-action rifles during infantry advances. Enhanced U.S. offensive capabilities across European and Pacific theaters through superior sustained fire rates, praised by military leadership as decisive tactical advantage in multiple engagements. German soldiers were still working their bolts when Americans had already fired 8 rounds. Faster follow-up shots and sustained fire capability gave American infantry tactical superiority in firefights, and the British had a cheap solution that looked absolutely terrible. Fairbairn Sykes fighting knife. This knife's foil grip design reveals its deadly purpose. It wasn't made for utility work. Double-edged fighting knife resembling a dagger with specialized foil grip, developed from Shanghai Municipal Police concepts for hand-to-hand combat and silent takedowns, distinguished from utility knives by its pure combat focus. The blade was engineered specifically for stabbing effectiveness in close-quarters situations. British commandos and airborne forces carried these during major operations. Used extensively by British commandos, airborne forces, and SAS during major operations, including the Normandy landings. Design emphasized stabbing effectiveness in close-quarters situations, became iconic weapon of elite British special forces throughout European theater. The foil grip allowed precise control during stabbing motions, making it ideal for silent sentry elimination. Its design enabled effective special operations and raids across various theaters of war, and American Marines had very specific complaints about what they were carrying: Sten submachine gun. This gun was so unreliable it earned the nickname Plumber's Nightmare, but resistance fighters loved it. Simple, low-cost submachine gun family with over 4 million units produced due to easy manufacturing requirements. Design prioritized production speed and cost reduction over reliability and refinement. Represented wartime expedient manufacturing at absolutely massive scale across British factories. It looked like someone built it in their garage with spare plumbing parts. The reliability was questionable, but the price was right for arming entire resistance movements, despite significant reliability issues earning derogatory nicknames like Plumber's Nightmare, extensively favored by European resistance groups. Mass production capabilities supported guerrilla warfare operations throughout occupied Europe. The easy manufacturing enabled widespread distribution to irregular forces behind enemy lines. Resistance fighters didn't need perfect, and they needed available and concealable. Combination of availability, simplicity, and concealability made it ideal for resistance operations despite mechanical limitations, and the American submachine gun became a Hollywood icon. Thompson submachine gun. This gun's 45 caliber rounds had stopping power that smaller caliber submachine guns simply couldn't match. Iconic submachine gun firing, 45. ACP rounds with 30-round magazines for balanced, low-recoil shoulder firing. Design emphasized accuracy and stopping power over simple manufacturing and cost reduction. Became instantly recognizable symbol of American forces in Hollywood gangster movies. The 45 rounds were the same as the M1911 pistol, massive and devastating. When these rounds hit, enemies went down and stayed down. Used extensively by US and Allied troops for suppression and raiding operations across Pacific Islands and European theaters. Effective range of 50 to 100 meters made it reliable for close to medium-range engagements, effective in street fighting and close-quarters operations where precision mattered. Most submachine guns were spray-and-pray weapons, but the Thompson was accurate enough for aimed fire. Superior accuracy and 45 caliber stopping power provided tactical advantages in sustained firefights, and Germans designed the perfect weapon for fighting in destroyed cities, steel hand granate. The handle wasn't just for grip, it gave Germans a massive throwing advantage that Allied forces couldn't match. Stick hand grenade featuring long handle for improved throwing distance and fragmentation head for explosive impact, commonly known as potato masher, due to distinctive shape resembling kitchen tool. Design prioritized throwing range over fragmentation density. The physics were simple, longer lever meant longer throws. Germans could hurl these much farther than any round grenade, allowed German soldiers to hurl grenades much farther than traditional round grenades used by Allied forces. Provided effective suppression capabilities in trench warfare and urban combat situations, used extensively across Eastern and Western theater operations. Enemy forces had to get closer to throw their grenades back. Handle leverage physics enabled longer throws than round grenades, influencing German defensive tactics on multiple fronts, and American officers got the most reliable sidearm ever made, MP-40 submachine gun. In Stalingrad's destroyed buildings and rubble-filled streets, this weapon gave Germans a crucial close-quarters advantage. Submachine gun firing 9mm rounds, specifically designed for urban conflict scenarios like street fighting in destroyed cities. Compact design optimized for maneuverability in tight spaces and building-to-building combat situations. Became standard weapon for German urban warfare specialists and assault troops. When cities turned into rubble mazes, rifles became too long and awkward. The MP-40 was built for fighting room to room through destroyed buildings. Used extensively in Stalingrad urban combat, where it countered Soviet weapons in close-quarters building fights. Compact design allowed effective movement through rubble and destroyed infrastructure. Influenced German tactics until gradually replaced by assault rifles in later war years. German soldiers could navigate tight spaces and clear rooms faster than enemies with longer weapons. Superior maneuverability and close-quarters effectiveness made it ideal for blasting through enemy infantry in confined spaces, while Soviets wanted something simple enough for factory workers to build. Ka-bar knife. Marines complained so much about their old knives breaking and failing that the Corps had to find something better. Combat knife made from high-carbon steel for superior durability and edge retention. Featured full-tang design with single piece of steel extending through the handle for maximum strength. Designed as versatile tool for multiple combat and utility functions. The steel construction meant it could handle anything Marines threw at it. From opening ammunition crates to hand-to-hand combat in jungle conditions. Adopted by US Marine Corps specifically after complaints about older knife failures in field conditions. Served extensively in Pacific theater operations including jungle warfare and amphibious assaults. Used for hand-to-hand combat, opening supply crates and various utility tasks in harsh terrain. Marines needed something that wouldn't snap when they needed it most. Its sturdiness improved close combat reliability for Marines and Army troops, especially crucial in unforgiving Pacific Island battles. They got their inspiration from Russia's most dangerous criminals, PPSH-41 submachine gun. This gun was so simple that inexperienced factory workers could build it, and it rarely jammed even in the harshest conditions. Simple submachine gun firing 7.62mm rounds, specifically designed for manufacture by inexperienced workers during wartime production. Featured drum magazines for high-volume sustained fire capabilities during extended engagements. Design prioritized reliability over precision or refinement in manufacturing and operation. The Soviets needed weapons fast, and they needed them to work in Russian winters. Complexity was the enemy when factories were being bombed and workers were untrained. Mass-produced for Red Army infantry units, with designs so effective that captured units were extensively used by German forces. Rarely experienced jamming malfunctions in harsh conditions like Stalingrad winter warfare. Enabled mass Red Army submachine gun deployment across the Eastern Front. Even German soldiers preferred captured PPSH-41s over their own weapons sometimes. Extreme simplicity and reliability under adverse conditions made it perfect for Eastern Front warfare. And Commonwealth forces had a machine gun that could be fired from the hip. Mills bomb. They had to reduce the fuse time because enemies kept picking them up and throwing them back. Fragmentation grenade capable of being thrown 30 to 40 meters with danger area extending around 100 yards. Originally featured 7-second fuse timing for safety during throwing. Represented first modern fragmentation grenade design used by British Army. The long fuse gave throwers time to get the distance right. but it also gave enemies time to pick them up and hurl them back. Fuse timing reduced to 4 seconds specifically after Battle of France experience. Change implemented to prevent enemies from collecting unexploded grenades and throwing them back at British forces, used extensively for area denial and suppression during infantry assaults. 4 seconds was just enough time to throw, but not enough for enemies to react. The timing adjustment solved the throwback problem while maintaining safety, influencing infantry tactics across European and North African campaigns, so they designed one that could work with rifles too, Bren Light Machine Gun. 2 men normally operated this machine gun, but in emergencies 1 man could hip-fire it effectively. Light machine gun with 500-520 RPM rate of fire and 600-yard effective range, designed for 2-man operation. Standard issue of 1 per section in Commonwealth armies for squad-level support. Provided squad-level suppressive fire capabilities while maintaining infantry mobility. The bipod setup was ideal, but sometimes you had to grab it and run. Hip-firing a machine gun sounds crazy, but it worked when you needed mobile firepower. Used extensively across multiple theaters including New Guinea jungle warfare and Netherlands operations. Enhanced infantry squad mobility through portable sustained fire support capabilities. 2-man teams provided tactical flexibility in various combat scenarios and terrain types. Commonwealth squads could lay down covering fire while advancing instead of being pinned down. Mobile suppressive fire capability enhanced Commonwealth squad movement and tactics, providing covering fire during advances. And 1 American machine gun served effectively across 2 entire world wars. M1918 Browning Automatic Rifle. This weapon was so effective it served successfully across both world wars with minimal design changes. Portable .30-06 caliber light machine gun with maximum range reaching 1,500 yards, but effective range of 400 to 600 yards. Designed for sustained fire support while maintaining infantry squad mobility and tactical flexibility. Favored by U.S. Army for versatile battlefield applications across multiple terrain types. The effective range meant you could hit enemies at distances most squad weapons couldn't reach. American squads had tactical reach that other armies simply couldn't match. Delivered sustained fire support for infantry squads across various terrains in both world wars. Proved exceptionally versatile in European, Pacific, and North African theater operations. Effective range capability exceeded most other squad-level support weapons available to infantry. Bar gunners became priority targets because they could dominate entire areas with sustained fire. Combination of portability, range, and sustained fire capability provided infantry squads with tactical advantages, but the German machine gun's rate of fire sounded like ripping canvas. MG42 machine gun. This weapon's rate of fire was so incredibly high that it sounded like ripping canvas and terrified Allied troops. Belt-fed general-purpose machine gun firing 7.92mm rounds at devastating 1,500 RPM rate with quick barrel change capabilities. Featured versatile mounting options including bipods and tripods for various tactical applications. Designed for maximum rate of fire and battlefield dominance through overwhelming firepower. The sound was unmistakable, a continuous ripping noise instead of individual shots. Allied soldiers learned to recognize that sound and immediately take cover. Used extensively by Waffen-SS units as light support weapon, eclipsing other machine guns with superior rate of fire. Dominated defensive positions across European theaters through overwhelming firepower capabilities. Distinctive sound created psychological warfare effects on enemy forces before they even saw the weapon. The rate of fire was so high that trying to rush an MG42 position was suicide. Extreme rate of fire combined with exceptional reliability made it the most feared machine gun, and the Soviet solution worked when everything else failed. DP-27 light machine gun. This machine gun's simple design worked perfectly in Russian winter conditions that jammed every other weapon. Pan-fed light machine gun serving as standard suppressive fire weapon for Red Army infantry units. Design emphasized extreme simplicity and reliability over rate of fire or mechanical sophistication. Featured distinctive pan magazine for sustained fire capability during extended engagements. When temperatures dropped to 40 below zero, complex mechanisms froze solid. The DP-27 kept working when German weapons turned into expensive clubs. Provided reliable suppressive fire during Eastern Front battles in conditions that disabled more complex weapons. Simple mechanical design allowed operation in extreme cold, mud, and battlefield debris. Supported Soviet infantry advances and defensive operations consistently throughout the war. Soviet soldiers could count on this weapon when nothing else would function. Extreme design simplicity enabled reliable operation in environmental conditions that caused mechanical failures in sophisticated weapons. And the British had a rifle powerful enough to punch through early tank armor, Boy's anti-tank rifle. This 55 caliber rifle was powerful enough to stop early war tanks, but tank armor was improving faster than rifles. Bolt-action anti-tank rifle firing massive 55 caliber rounds, designed to penetrate light armor at close range. provided infantry units with portable anti-vehicle capability without requiring heavy artillery support, represented early solution to tank threat before specialized anti-tank weapons were developed. The 55 caliber rounds were absolutely massive, bigger than most machine gun ammunition. These rifles could punch through the light armor of early war tanks, used by British and Commonwealth forces during early war period when tank armor was lighter. Effective against armored cars, light tanks, and early medium tank designs at close range. Gradually became obsolete as tank armor thickness increased throughout the war. Tank designers were adding armor faster than rifle designers could increase penetration. Initial effectiveness against light armor diminished as tank development outpaced anti-tank rifle capabilities, but Americans developed something far more effective, NR-40 knife. The S-shaped guard design came from studying Finland's criminal knife fighting techniques. Combat knife featuring distinctive S-shaped guard curved toward the blade edge, design inspired by Finnish knives from Russia's criminal underworld knife fighting traditions, specifically engineered for grips held with edge inward for stealth attacks. The curve wasn't decorative, it was functional for a very specific type of killing. Soviet engineers studied how criminals fought with knives and applied those lessons, used extensively by Soviet tank crew members and infantry throughout Eastern Front operations. Design aided close-quarters combat and stealthy attacks from behind enemy lines, became standard issue for armored units requiring close combat capabilities. Tank crews needed weapons for when they had to abandon their vehicles. The edge-inward grip facilitated sneaking up on enemies from behind, enhancing self-defense capabilities in armored units. And the British had a grenade problem that needed solving fast. Bazooka. This weapon was so effective at killing tanks that it was immediately copied by both allies and enemies. Man-portable rocket launcher firing shape-charge rockets to penetrate tank armor effectively, provided infantry units with reliable anti-tank capability without requiring artillery support or specialized vehicles. Revolutionary advancement in infantry anti-armor weapons and tactical capabilities. Instead of trying to make bigger bullets, Americans made rockets that infantry could carry. The shape-charge warheads could penetrate armor that no rifle could touch. Supplied extensively to Allied forces via Lend-Lease program, including Soviet units on Eastern Front. Enabled infantry to engage tanks effectively across North African, European, and Pacific theater operations. Design was quickly copied by German and Soviet forces for their own use. Suddenly, every infantry squad could kill tanks instead of running away from them. Shaped charge warhead technology provided reliable tank penetration capability, revolutionizing infantry anti-armor tactics, and Germans perfected the disposable concept, Panzerfaust. By the war's end, even elderly men and teenagers in the Volkssturm were using these against Allied tanks in desperate last stands. Single-shot, disposable anti-tank recoilless launcher with shaped charge warhead for armor penetration, designed for extreme simplicity allowing operation by minimally trained personnel, represented German late-war desperation and tactical innovation under pressure. The design was so simple that literally anyone could use it effectively. Point, pull trigger, throw away the tube, and grab another one. Issued to regular German infantry and Volkssturm civilian units during war's final stages as last-ditch defense. Simple operation allowed widespread use by elderly men, teenagers, and inexperienced troops. Provided effective last-resort defense against Allied armor advances through German territory. Desperate times called for desperate measures, and the Panzerfaust delivered results. Design simplicity enabled mass distribution and use as final defensive measure for civilian defenders, and nothing was more psychologically devastating than liquid fire. Flammenwerfer 35. This weapon's 25-meter range of burning liquid was as much about psychological terror as physical destruction. Portable flamethrower with 25-meter range designed for clearing trenches and fortified buildings through liquid fire projection. Combined direct physical destruction with intense psychological warfare effects on enemy morale. Used to neutralize entrenched positions resistant to conventional weapons and explosive attacks. Nothing terrified soldiers more than the sight of liquid fire shooting toward their position. The psychological effect was often more devastating than the actual flames. Employed by German forces to demoralize and eliminate entrenched Allied positions across multiple theater operations. Influenced German urban warfare and fortification assault tactics despite significant fuel consumption limitations. Created terror effects beyond immediate physical damage to personnel and equipment. Even soldiers who escaped the flames were often too shaken to fight effectively. Combination of physical destruction capability and psychological impact made it effective for clearing fortifications. From silent knives to liquid fire, these weapons shaped every infantry battle of World War II.